Second quarterly chamber coffee. Speaking of which, I'm Tim Coffey from the chamber, Clear Lake, and again, coming out early in the morning. Just one very important housekeeping. We ran out of coffee, and the natives are restless. We're getting some more, but there is water back there. Probably in about 10 minutes or so, we'll have some more coffee, and we'll tell you later where it's from. So, it's my pleasure to begin things here at our quarterly chamber coffee to introduce our board president, the director of this great institution, Surf Ballroom, Lori Leeds. Lori.
Good morning. I have a microphone for anybody who wants to use it. I'm not quite ready to yell, but welcome to the Surf Ballroom. Thank you for being here this morning. This is our quiet version of the surf. If you've ever been here before, we take on a number of different faces. This is the serenity time that I cherish here at the surf because sometimes it's not this quiet. And we have a show tonight, so that'll be the case as well. But I just wanted to say welcome and thank you for being here. And these quarterly coffees have been a lot of fun, so thanks for making the surf a part of that. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our first person on the agenda this morning, the Honorable Nelson Crabb.
Thank you. Hopefully I can make this through. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning and had to meet dear Diane Thompson at 5 a.m. at the flower truck. Yes, we helped water all the hanging plants done that before, but always with Diane, it's kind of like a thrill race, you know, and there are many curves, as those of you who have done that know that, and I was up in the pulpit, I call it, you know, where you water things, and Diane, one time she hit that curve just a little hard, and I thought I was catapulted to the moon. It was fun. Anyway, hey folks, we've got a big couple of weeks coming up. You better be ready, because if we aren't ready at this time of the year, you know, that's our history. We have to be ready. It's important. Kind of bothers me to see the results on TV this morning of the Brits pulling away from the European Union, and folks, if you don't think that's going to affect us, you missed the call. The Brits are the window into the other European countries as far as trade is concerned for the United States. And as that gets all disheveled with what's all going on over there, and what's all going on across the rest of the world, we need to really bring our thought process up to the top, because right here, we are not insulated. This is a global economy, a global society anymore, and we need to be aware of that. But, folks, right here in Clear Lake, Iowa, we are going to start our fun times. And as I always say, when we kind of switched the transformation from more of a farming, agricultural community with resort as a side highlight, I think we've come the other way. We don't necessarily have tons of farmers all coming to town on Saturday night to get the groceries, to sit around the park, etc., because there aren't as many farm families out there. Farms have gotten bigger. And so our transformation is now a destination center, as we call it, a tourist resort area. And that's what we gear up for. So, put on, as Captain Coffey says, your smiley face. As my dad used to say, it doesn't cost you anything to say hello, how are you, please, thank you, enjoy your day. And I think we all need to put on those smiley faces here these next few weeks when we have the visitors and the family friends You know, those of you that have homes here in Clear Lake, you're going to have visitors come the 4th of July. You always do. And that's what it's going to be again. So thank those people for coming. That's what we're all about. And make sure, as we say, that they come back again. It really stresses our public safety people. Keep in mind, we have 15 police officers. We have 3 full-time ambulance folks. We have 25 volunteer fire department people that are cross-trained also with regard to the EMT folks, the paramedics. They all kind of work together, but that really puts a strain on them when we go from 7,777. Don't ask me where they came up with that. Unbelievable. But I'll tell you right now in this town, there's somewhere between 12 and 15,000. And you know what happens on 4th of July. We always come up, I always love that. Either it's Coffey or me or the police chief, or we always come up, what I call a fictitious number as to how many are here on the 4th of July. Oh, there were 50,000 people. 20 people deep going down. But we do like to entertain people here, and we do a wonderful, wonderful job. Speaking of public safety, we just completed last night about 6:30 our last interview for a captain's position. That's a new position on our police force. We used to have a police chief, we still do, but the hierarchy used to be police chief, 3 lieutenants, and then the rest of the officers for a total of 15. Now we're going to have a police chief, a captain, 2 lieutenants, there's a detective in there, and the rest of the officers for a total of 16 for this great town. So we have had excellent candidates, and believe you me, folks, these candidates, when they come in now, are well-trained, well-educated. You know, Barney and Mayberry are long gone. It's a different world out there, and technology that they have in those cars is just beyond. If you open up the trunk of the police officer's car, it's loaded with state-of-the-art technology, and you better know how to use that and the connection. Just look at that tower down there by the PD. It contains an awful lot of antennas for a whole variety of communications that go through and to it. So we're hopeful that we name that person here within the next day or two. We think we will offer the position sometime today. So that's exciting stuff. I also want to talk to you about an invite that Scott and I received the other day. Scott Flory, our city administrator, as well as Senator Amanda Reagan and House Speaker Linda Upmeyer. Linda, of course, as you know, lives in Clear Lake. We were invited to go out to McKesson to meet and greet and talk with John Hammergren, the CEO. Rare does anyone get an opportunity to talk to a CEO of a Fortune 100 company, let alone a number 5 company within that Fortune 100. And McKesson is now ranked number 5 in the Fortune 100. And you know, you think to yourself, what am I going to say to this guy? And I challenge you to go home and Google that gentleman's annual. And I thought, no way can I talk to this guy? He's beyond me. He supervises 85,000 people on a global basis. He lives in San Francisco. Blah blah blah. You know. he's coming to Clear Lake, Iowa, there must be something wrong. To the contrary. We got there, and this gentleman was just like sitting around talking to any of us right here today. He had a suit on, maybe. That was the difference. I said, where's hometown? Small talk going here. Where's hometown? Oh, he said, I was born up here in Alexandria, Minnesota. Oh, well, that relaxed me a little bit. He's a Midwestern. He knows how to talk. I said, I bet you played hockey. You know, you try to get common ground. I bet you played, oh yeah, I played hockey. Well, who doesn't in Minnesota? And he says, yeah, he said, I used to go out on the ice with my dad in an old fishing shack. I thought, oh, great, this guy can talk our language. And he did for the rest of the noon hour that we were there. And then he took us off separately and talked about health care across the nation, health care in the Midwest and globally. You know, just a perfect gentleman, just as common as any of us sitting right here. He talked then to the employees there. The meal was catered by a local person here, a local group here in Clear Lake. He talked to his employees, how proud he was of them. He said, well, yeah, the CEO better be proud of his employees. But it was the personal touch that I saw him give those people, from this guy out of San Francisco, head of the number 5 in the Fortune 100 companies. That really touched me. And then he said, you know, it wasn't just because of the interstates going out here and crossing neatly, because it gives access to a whole wide variety of other states in the Midwest and South, etc. It wasn't the fact that you had a main railroad going through town, that you had an airport 1.5 miles away. And then he paused and he said, but it was that the values of McKesson matched up with the values of the Clear Lake people. Whoa, that's huge. You know, you can tell if that was a real statement coming from his oral cavity or something else. And it was real. It was real. So, needless to say, when we left, we felt very, very good. One of the questions that I asked 2 or 3 years ago, and we didn't even know the company at that time, and they were very interested and pretty much said they were going to build their company here. I asked them, I said, what type of interaction will you have with our community? And the lady there, first name was Amy, she looked at Larry, who was the company manager at this point in time, and they laughed. I thought, oh crap, you asked them all. They turned right around and they said to me, we want to be as active in this community as you will let us. Wow, that's huge. And they have been, and they will continue to be. There were 110 employees there. Eventually they will get up to 200. They won't be full bore going probably until the late winter in 2017, the first part of April. They had 900 applicants for 120 positions first start. And you say we were short of workers here? Sure, they may have come from this place to go to that place and so on and so forth. But these were well-qualified people, and they've said that they're very, very pleased with these first 110. You say, well, that's Midwestern. I don't know about that. These are just good working people. Perhaps some of them are Midwestern. We certainly live here now. But that was exciting to hear. And that's what the people that we have in this room are. We are the same kind, and we need to continue to foster all of that. I see Cheryl Bergvik in the audience here. And we have our new superintendent of schools back there, by the way. Welcome, sir. Pleased to have you here. Talking about working together, we need school and community to work together. And I think this young man will provide that opportunity as well. And that, once again, like I said the last time, we need to develop that community within this community. And that's what we're doing here this morning, and we will continue to do with that. Cheryl Bergvik, the initiator of the wonderful new dog park that we have. Once again, this is how things get started in this community. We are citizen-driven. A citizen initiative happens with those dear flowers that I watered this morning. You know, and you look at Central Gardens, and you look at how come the city now has the property of the golf course, but it isn't run by the city, it's run by a private group of citizens. You know, and that's functioning well. You look at the Arts Center, citizen-driven, the pool. You know, you folks that are new to this town, we didn't have a pool in this town until 2006. Unheard of in Iowa. Every town has a pool. Clear Lake didn't. You know why? Because we had the lake at that time. At that time, some of you remember, we'd go to school in the morning after taking a shower, and we would smell like the lake. Not the case anymore, because that lake behind us is a very important venue that we have now, over the last 10 to 15 years, put in $23 million federal, state, county, local, private money to make sure that that will be better and continue to be better over time. And with that, I would like to introduce to you the gentleman who's going to really kind of monitor all that and make sure that that occurs. We have developed a new, what we call Clear Lake Watershed, that consists of Saragordo County, keep in mind what's around the lake, Saragordo County, the city of Ventura, the city of Clear Lake, Hancock County, because the west end of the marsh, folks, is in Hancock County. You say goodbye to Mark Young as you leave Ventura. Right away comes up Hancock County, and that is at the far west end. So they are a part of this watershed. And the Association for the Preservation of Clear Lake, which spearheaded all of this many, many, many years ago. It's a pleasure for me to introduce to you now our new Clear Lake Project Coordinator, Mr. Jim Sholly. Jim comes from Dixon. He used to think that Okoboji was the natural lake in the state of Iowa. He has now come to learn that the best natural lake in the state of Iowa is right here.
Thank you, Mayor, and I guess for better words, he speaks a lot of truth. I love this community. I've been here for a little over 6 weeks now. It has been nothing but welcoming, and the enthusiasm, the excitement, that citizen-driven desire to protect this lake has been overwhelming and awesome, and it means that my job will be so much easier now. So I hope to be here for a number of years to come. I hope they will keep me around, and I am tasked with that fun job of, as they say, making Clear Lake clear again. So water quality projects, and in the short time I've been here, we have going on 1,000 feet of shoreline that private citizens living around the lake want to restore, protect. There are a number of projects going on further out in the watershed, all aimed at that sustainability of our lake and protecting the water quality and keeping it a place that my kids, my grandkids will want to swim and grow up in. So I want to thank you guys for welcoming me to your community and welcoming with such open arms. Like the mayor said, this is a very citizen-driven community, and that's what this Watershed project is. It is citizen-driven, and it is fun to see how much enthusiasm and excitement there is here in Clear Lake and in the area. So thank you for welcoming me here.
Okay, just a couple mechanics here. We have some white tiles right here. This is kind of like the star that Johnny Carson used to have in the Tonight Show. And I think Libby is taping this. And we're going to try to capture everything and put it online to have our members who aren't here get a feeling as to what this chamber coffee really is, because it's beyond just having a cup of good cabin coffee. It's learning what's going on here in Clear Lake. And speaking of which, Cheryl and Doug, would you please come up? Part of what we want to do is put new names and faces together and have you see who some of the people either you hear about or read about are. So, Cheryl, would you please do the honors of introducing our new schools?
Well, it is my pleasure to have our new superintendent here with me. He has taught math and phys ed for 16 years, but then decided he needed to make a move up, so he got his principal's administrative degree, and he was 6 years as principal and activities director at ADM. And then he thought, well, he probably better go up the ladder a little bit more, so he got his superintendency, and the last 2 years he's been at Boyer Valley and Woodbine as a shared superintendent. And he decided that his wife is a school finance person in Adel. And so for 2 years he's been commuting. She hasn't, but he's been commuting. So they decided they wanted to live together. I don't understand that. So anyway, he started looking for another job, and we were lucky enough to have him apply to Clear Lake, and we interviewed 4. And there was hands down no competition at all. He was far superior. And one of the things we did ask him was, will you be involved with the community? Because that's what we want. Well, yes, he is. And he will be, and he is already. So we're excited to have him in our community. We're excited to have him as our school leader. And I'd like to introduce Doug Lee.
I'll try to stay on the white spot here, but I used to be a football coach, so I kind of move around a little bit. So I do enjoy talking, and when Tim asked me to talk the other night, he said, you got 2 minutes. I'm like, I can talk all day. Those who know me and will get to know me, I will. I can talk for a long time and enjoy talking, and absolutely, truly enjoy getting to meet people. And getting out in the community, that's probably one of the favorite things I have to do. So I suppose once in a while they're going to want me to be in my office and do some work. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot nicer to be out on the lake. But it's going to be a little tougher to get to work in July here than it was in Dunlap. Nothing against Dunlap. Okay, and Dunlap is, the people were great there, and the community was fantastic. But I lived in a house, 576 square foot, and I was, tiniest house in town. This is the Superintendent's smallest house in town. But so last 2 years, or actually last year, I was a shared superintendent between Boyer Valley and Woodbine. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I was also the 612 principal, curriculum director for both districts, special ed director for both districts, and also did some athletic director stuff for both districts. So it's a good thing my wife didn't live out there. Because, it was a 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. job. No, so I was so happy to get the position here. You guys, this community is what a great place to live. My wife and I were out and we bought a boat, by the way. We're already contributing to the community tremendously. Water condo with, and Crabb Bank and Trust helped us with that. And then Bought a boat, Clear Lake boats, last Friday, and I've already used it extensively already, so it's been great. But my wife and I were sitting out there in the boat the other evening, Wednesday night, and had supper out there, and just sitting there relaxing, and it was like, wow. I mean, just what an amazing place you guys have here. We gotta promote that to people, and I'm sure you do, and you try to do that, but we gotta get the word out to what a great place. And when I looked into the school, what a great school district already. I mean, the neat things that we have going on, the innovative things that we're doing. My job is to look at some of those things now and kind of realize, okay, here's some great things we're doing. Now, what are the next steps? What are some more things to get us out there and promote our school district? What I want, and kind of the vision that I would have for Clear Lake school districts would be, I want other districts in the state to look at Clear Lake and say, okay, what are they doing? I want them to come in and say, okay, what are you guys doing? We want to be like you. And that's my goal, is that everybody else in this state, and even other states surrounding, saying, I want us to be the envy of those other schools and other towns, and people that want to come here because of what great schools we have and what great community we have. That doesn't happen if we don't have that community, business relationship with the school. That just doesn't happen. Those two got to work together. The school is the heartbeat of a community, and that's what promotes that community. I wrote down some notes. I'll probably go off. I'm probably over my 2 minutes already. So, some of these people some of you probably got work to do. I'm still on vacation, by the way. I don't officially start until July 1st. When Tim said, hey, would you want to come and talk? He said, we'll wait till September, October. I said, I can do it sooner. And my wife said, well, you can do it Friday morning. So I said, the sooner the better. So I also have 2 daughters. One lives in Ankeny. She has 2 kids, and actually is in the process of adopting 2 more. My other daughter lives in Grimes, and she's married, and she adopted 2. And I'll try to make this quick, but what really happened is my older daughter was going to adopt the 2 daughters. There's 5 siblings, and they wanted her to take out 4, so I can't, so that my younger daughter said, we'll take the other 2 so they can stay together. I guess from that standpoint, I raised some good kids, and good values, and that's one of the things that we always want to be cognizant of, was raising kids. And by the way, Clear Lake kids, they're all mine. I mean, I look at that as those are my kids, and I've always approached it that way. People entrust their kids to us. That's their most important, valuable asset in the world. And I was talking about asset, but that's their most important thing, and they entrust them to us, the school. And we have to take that very seriously when we start educating them on the values and what they're going to do for their life. And I take that job very seriously. I also have 2 stepsons. One lives in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and has 3 kids, which is another reason why this is attractive for my wife. It puts her 2 hours closer to her 3 grandkids and her son in Eau Claire. So we'll get her here. I just got to get her a job. Or honestly, if we don't, probably she'll just retire in a year, and then, which I think she probably would rather do that one anyway. So we'll make that one work. And then our other son just graduated his PhD from Syracuse in philosophy. He's one of those really smart guys. And he's going to be taking a job in Jerusalem, college over there, which my wife is not really thrilled about, but it's a good thing for him. So that's our family. We have, and like I said, we did sell our house in Waukee, so that's a good thing. One day on the market it was sold, so that's a good thing. So she'll rent there for a while. My wife is a school business manager, which again has helped me understand school finance, which is obviously an important thing, being a superintendent. Clear Lake, to me, is the perfect size community. It's just big enough to offer kids anything and everything that they want to be involved in, especially with NIAC and the relationships, but it's just small enough where you can get to know the people and the kids and the parents. When you get to too big of a community or too big of a school, you don't get to know the kids by name. I mean, I like to go to the activities. I was at the baseball game the other night. By the way, what a fantastic game with St. Ansgar if you were there. Boy, our kids know how to win. And I love it. By the way, I hate to lose. I don't care what it is. Back in sports, academics, I want to be the best. And I'm very, very competitive. So don't take that the wrong way, but I hate to lose. So it's just perfect opportunity for kids. And I've already started to get to know the staff a little bit. My goal was to get all their names down before I got here July 1. I'm working on that. I don't know if I'm going to make that, but I'm going to work on that one. Talked about the businesses. Talked about the community. I guess the biggest thing I'll kind of end with is these kind of things. If anything you need from me, from a business standpoint with the school, anything we can do to help you, please ask. I have an open door policy. You know what? It's probably why I work a lot of hours, because during the business time, I'm there for the kids and for the community and for the people. At night after hours, that's when I get my work done. When nobody else is around. I'm kind of workaholic, but that's okay. I love what I do. I absolutely love being around kids. I'm so excited at the fact that the central office is connected to the school. I know it's not the elementary, but it's connected because I really enjoy getting out into the classrooms, getting to know the kids. I still do lunch duty at Boyer Valley because that's the best time to talk to kids. They still had me, which is kind of weird, but as a superintendent, I talk to most of the pep rallies. That's kind of that old football coach in me. It kind of keeps me going on the coaching and get the kids riled up a little bit, and it's kind of fun. But you'll probably find me at the basketball games, volleyball games. I'll be right down there on the court. I won't be out on the court, but I'm down there by it because I get excited for our kids. I'd love to go watch them play and participate and be involved in that stuff. So I guess if anybody has any questions, I would answer some. I know they're going to be yanking me here pretty soon, but if anybody has any questions. I answered everything? Fantastic. So, hey, I will be out to meet you. A lot of you, I'll be getting out once I get started. My goal will be to get out and meet a few people at a time every day. Just be able to sit down and talk to you a little bit. Hopefully you're okay with that. Because that's again, something I really enjoy to do. So, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Doug. That was Doug before his coffee. Well, we welcome Doug to our community, and he mentioned his household that sold in one day, and it was like this position and everything related to it was meant to be. So we're really anxious to have Doug be part of our community. Now, just one more but very important housekeeping rule. Patsy is up here right in front, and she's got a little mini iPad. On that mini iPad, and this is where we're going to start really our quarterly coffee, is a 2-minute timer. And you're going to hear a little ding go off, and we won't yank you off, but we'll really encourage you to. We gave a lot of leeway to Nelson and Jim and certainly Doug, but now we're playing beat the clock here. So our next category for our coffee is new employees or promotions, and to introduce those individuals and companies is our board member from the CLTL, Dan Nichols. Dan.
Of course, yes, I'm Dan Nichols. For those that don't know me, I'm a very proud employee of CLTL and its subsidiary Skyview Solutions. This morning we're going to be announcing the businesses, and we're going to be hearing from individuals from the new employees and promotions category. How I'm going to do this is we're going to announce each individual business. Please come up when I do that to address the audience. If you are announcing a new employee, please, as a supervisor, have the supervisor speak first, and then announce the employee. Let's have the employee say a few words about themselves and what they're doing for their work. So, first on the list is Mark Young and Jeff Badger from Clear Lake Bank and Trust.
Has the timer started? morning, I'm Mark Young. Pleasure this morning to introduce Jeff Badger. Jeff, many of you have probably seen him around the community already. He started with our bank at the end of January. Jeff is a Parkersburg native, so the Sacred Acre down there, so he knows all about good sports, and so he'll continue that in here at Clear Lake. But Jeff, excited to have him as part of our business banking department in Clear Lake. Comes to us with many years experience with U.S. Bank, most recently as market president in the Marshalltown area. And he's relocated here to Clear Lake with his family. He wasn't able to be with us at the last Chamber Coffee because we're such an easy employer. He went on vacation already, and just started, and then he goes on vacation. So with that, just it's a pleasure to have Jeff working for us, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself and his family.
Thank you. Yes, it was great. I got to go to Mexico a week just after starting. But anyway, yeah, I moved to the community officially 3 months ago. I have a wife who is working from home. She works for CUNA Mutual. And a freshman, I guess now I'm going to be a sophomore in school. So definitely looking forward to all the opportunities of the school system for him. I'm very excited to be part of the community. For the few months that I have been here, just as everybody has said, I mean, it's very welcoming. There's so much to do, so it's so excited to be involved in everything. As far as banking, definitely looking forward to helping everybody out in the community and anything that I can do. Yeah, I'm just excited to be part of the community, so thank you very much.
And next on the list is MBT, Nick Gensler and Tim Etzbeck.
Hey, hey! Good morning. Tim Etzbeck, MBT Bank. This is our, every last Friday of the month we wear jeans, and all employees give $5 to a charity, so that's why you see a banker in jeans this morning. But this month I think it's the food bank. So my pleasure. We also wear our new MBT red on Fridays, and I'm glad Mayor Crabb joined us in wearing red. Thanks, Mayor. Doug, it sounds like your former job, how busy you were, was like a typical banker day. So, right? It's my pleasure. My pleasure to introduce Nick Gensler. Nick has joined my office in Clear Lake as our full-time MBT insurance agent. So this is the first time since we opened that office in '04 that we've had a full-time insurance agent in our MBT insurance agency. So Nick, say a few words. Nick?
For those of you who don't know me, born and bred in Clear Lake. I worked for an insurance company for a little over a year. Transferred out to Colorado with them. Didn't really work out personally, and I came back. I love Clear Lake. It's great. I wouldn't be where I am today without Clear Lake the way it is. From the community to the sports, especially the sports, I still support Clear Lake. It's insane how much I love Clear Lake sports. But then came back and I worked as a sales rep for a supply company for about 3 years. But I always wanted to get back to doing something in the community. I was always traveling. And I had a connection with the insurance agent up in Clear Lake, up in Lake Mills. And they came a hollering and I jumped on it. I don't know how notorious I am, but I missed the chamber stuff. I had fun doing it. And I like doing the Rotary stuff. So it's nice being an independent agent. It gives a lot of leeway as far as, what we can write, who we can write with, and rate-wise. So it's been great so far. I'm looking forward to going full throttle and keeping it going for right now. But it's great being back. I appreciate it.
So next, from Iowa Powdercraft is Colleen and John Thomas.
Hey, we're John and Colleen Thompson from Powdercraft, and we are kind of the new kids on the block. We've only been in business, we're starting our third year in August. We don't have any employees here to say great things about, but we're entering a stage right now where we call it stabilize and grow. Organizational structure is our emphasis right now. We kind of started with a shotgun approach and let's go find some business and let's get that business done. And now we're starting to really try to hone in on what our organizational structures are. So we've recently hired a young lady. She hasn't started yet, but she has a degree in accounting. We're going to move another gal that's already here into more of a marketing and support position. And then we've promoted a couple of guys in the back in the shop. One is in the shop foreman area where he handles everything on what we say one side of the door. And then we have an operations guy that handles the rest of it. And I got to get out and sell more. So we couldn't bring everybody because if we did that, we would be shut down and that would cost a whole lot of money. So anyway, I think there was a question here. We have a couple of things that are different categories, and I think that you wanted to just go ahead and kill it all at one time. All right.
Well, and we're really excited about our new hire. She's going to offer a lot, help him track some numbers that he's been wanting to track for a long time as far as job costing. So we're excited about that. And I got to tell you, our new supervisor, amazing guy. I hope we can introduce him sometime because we didn't know that today we could bring him. I might have snuck him out. But anyway, great guy. He's a good combination of being able to really encourage the guys back there and gals that we have and work with John in keeping efficiencies going. So we're excited to have him on board. But you had a category about recognition, and we just wanted to share some fun things that have been happening with our Powdercraft. There is in our industry a publication called Powder Coating Institute magazine. The entity is Powder Coating Institute, and they've got a Powder Coating Tough magazine, and they called us and asked us if they could feature us. This little tiny feature, but we were featured in their magazine. That was very exciting for our young company. And then we have been working, if you're, you guys are all pretty much established businesses, but John Papajohn Entrepreneurial Center here in North Iowa is absolutely amazing in their support of businesses here. And they have been a tremendous support to us. And they have a 20-year gala coming up to celebrate what John Papajohn has done all over. And they asked us if they could feature us in their material because they think that we're doing something good, and they're excited about how they've been able to help us get to where we're going. So get where we are and look to where we like to be. So we get to be a part of their written promotional stuff and their video presentation for this gala celebration of what John Papajohn is doing. So we were excited about that. And we have a big drum roll thing that we have been waiting a long time for this.
2.5 years.
2.5 years, and he's been pushing it hard, but today we are launching our website. Woohoo! It's actually very cool looking, so look up www.iowapowdercraft.com. It's just a beginning. We have some text that we have to rework, and we're still working on it, but it is launched, and we've got more that we're going to be adding, and we're going to integrate some Facebook stuff with it, but that's the exciting stuff happening at Iowa Powdercraft.
One last thing, it's kind of fun to be here because we have people that are new to the community, and it just reminds us how good this community really is. It's fun to see their excitement. We had that same excitement 9 years ago when we moved here, and then you kind of move into the mundane and the everyday and everything else. So it's really kind of fun to see some people, some real excitement.
But to add to the excitement, again, over at our Powdercraft, I love seeing, we've got some people now that have worked for us for 2 years, some people that have worked with us for a year, so that's kind of fun to see. But to see people, we wanted to come and invest in the community, we wanted to be a part of offering something in this community, and to see some of the lives being lifted, just with our little Iowa Powdercraft. It's kind of fun to be a small business in this area, so thank you. We're done. We're done.
And now for First Citizens Bank,
Meyer from First Citizens. A little bit about First Citizens. We have 8 locations in North Iowa and 1 in Mora, Minnesota. Today we're here actually to introduce our newest employee, Andy Helgeson. Andy comes to our bank as a Vice President of Ag and Commercial Lending. He's a great addition. 8 years ago I joined First Citizens, and actually Andy took my position at the bank I was at and made life hard for me. So I was glad to have him join us here at First Citizens. So he's a great addition. We're excited to have him, and he'll be a great asset for our customers. So have Andy introduce himself.
Hey everybody, a little bit about myself. I grew up in Kensett, just a little small town just north of here. So I'm a local kid from the area. So I came back, I came out of college and started banking, and just found my way back home. I farm a little small farm over near Kensett and whatnot, so I do that on the side. But love banking and love doing that for the community and stuff. But I also have a wife and 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. And they're all close together, 8, 5, and 3, so they keep me busy too. But I couldn't do it without her, so I give her support, so she does a lot for me. As well, she also works for as a dental hygienist in Mason City and North Springs for Weber and Auto. And I'm just glad to be here, be back home. Love fishing at Clear Lake, so it's a good place to be. Just nice to be back home, so it's good to be at First Citizens, so thank you.
Welcome, Andy. Now our next category is honors, awards, or recognition. And our first company is Century 21, Dottie Wilkins. Dottie.
Good morning, it's great to be here, and being here and seeing all the enthusiasm with all of you folks just makes me feel all the more happy that we did go ahead. We opened a franchise on Main Street, and so I'm Dodie with Century 21, and been with the franchise for 20 years. I've been owner for 16 years, and recently my partner of 16 years retired, so now I do have the full ownership of that. What we're seeing so far in Clear Lake, I just have to say one thing. We were shopping for some items for our office and came out, said I like these few things, if they didn't work, could I bring them back? And she said, take them with you, go try them out and bring them back. So out the door we go with the items, not paying for them, and then they worked, and then went back, brought her the things back that didn't, and paid for the things that did. So just amazing. Where do you find that in any small community? So you guys are really great. Our grand opening is going to be on July 7th from 6 to 9. We're going to have some refreshments and stuff, so we hope you can stop by for that. And we'll also have some prizes. And we've been members of the Clear Lake MLS for well over 10 years, but we're just really excited to have the Main Street location. Also wanted to say we're thrilled Donna Eckert had joined us this year. I can't tell, our office, our team is thrilled to have her. Her professionalism, her ethics, most of you probably already know her, is unsurpassed. We appreciate her so much, as I know her clients do as well. So we're really looking forward to this new chapter with Century 21 and working with all you great folks. It's just really heartwarming. And I see myself on the agenda twice, so I think I'm just going to wrap it up since I didn't know there would be a camera and whoa. A little bit of stage fright. But so we have, we serve all of North Iowa. We have 3 locations, Mason City, Clear Lake, Northwood. We look forward to continued growth. But I have to say, this office opening has been the most fun. The atmosphere in Clear Lake, we're so excited to be a part of the community on Main Street and look forward to working with all you folks. So if you ever need anything, you know where to find us, 417 Main. Come and have some refreshments again and sign up for some prizes. And we just appreciate y'all so much. So thank you.
Thank you, Dodie, and welcome to Clear Lake. Our next category, our next company is Alpha Media, and it's Alice Hanley. So, Alice, would you join us, please?
our general market manager, and of course, she has one of those days where she needs to be in 3 places at once, so I'm filling one of those spots. Some of you probably don't know what Alpha Media is, but it's KGLO, KRIB Radio, 93.9 The Country Moves, Star 106, KLSS, and Super Hits 102.7. And today what we'd like to kind of do is just kind of toot the horns of 3 of our very professional, long-standing broadcasters. A lot of you know Bob Fisher, voice of the Clear Lake Lions on KRIB. Many of you listen every morning to Bob's newscasts and also to Tim Fleming on KGLO. And then Jesse Stewart, especially all of you ag folks, he's our farm director. So there was recently, the Iowa Broadcasters Association had their annual awards banquet, and I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a list of what they received. So Bob Fisher received first place awards in Best Newscast for the Midday Report, his sports play-by-play for KRIB Sports, first place in political coverage for the KGLO Election Night 2015, and first place in public affairs for the Ask the Mayor program. Second place, he received overall excellence. He also received second in overall excellence in weather coverage for Severe Weather Awareness Week. He received second place for a feature on River City Sculptures on Parade. He also received third place for use of actuality on River City Sculptures on Parade. And third place for Best Sportscast, KRIB Morning Sports. Tim Fleming, who's been a longtime broadcaster for 30-plus years. He received second place in sports play-by-play on KGLO. And Jesse Stewart, our farm director, received second place for agriculture on the KGLO Fall Harvest Reports. This is the 12th straight year that Bob Fisher has led KGLO and KRIB to a placement in the overall excellence category, which is the Iowa Broadcasters' top